And hello and welcome everyone to what might very well be, if this all works out, a very different looking version of the comic multiverse than you're used to. Wouldn't you agree, Matt?
I would agree. We decided to do video this week in our from our 2 week hiatus. We decided to
Yeah.
return with
We
video.
we we've been talking about this for a bit, and I hope it does work out. I hope it's not just a giant fuck up when I eventually put this one out. But yeah, we've been talking about doing video for a bit. We had talked about trying to experiment with live as we approached 70 episodes of the comic multiverse. The thing is just, with time zones and technology and who's up to watch live if we were to do it live, it's a whole thing. But, this is a step further we're taking, 70 episodes and however many years in now we've been doing this.
Yeah. So video, if it does work out, if nothing goes horribly wrong,
Then
then
it'll just go back to the show you always knew.
yeah. And if it works out really well, then we'll do more video shows. So I think people like the video shows.
I think they do. I think that, just talk seriously about the business of YouTube and podcasting. I think that is the way it's going. I think in a weird way, YouTube and YouTube shows have replaced television. They've replaced the
Yeah.
average talk show.
Yeah. It's totally.
Not to just royally jerk myself off and pat myself on the back a little bit and go, we're totally new media now. Fuck like all that old media and shit, man. This is where it's at.
This is where it's at.
This is where it's at. Me and Matt talking about comic books late at night for me on Sunday and early in the morning for him. This is where it's at. This is it, everybody. And yeah, like Matt said, I was away last week. I was doing the Fan Expo thing. I had a ton of fun. I have a con video up for those who haven't seen it yet, but it's probably a good thing that I was away for that week because I was able to put together a nice little collection of news and topics for us to talk about.
Yeah, we got actually quite a bit to talk about.
Yeah, we got a fair amount, which is nice, which is always nice. I always hate it when, it's like 9:30 on a Sunday and I'm like, oh God, what the hell are we going to talk about for an hour?
Yep.
I like it. Am I just going to have to start making stuff up? Is that where we're at now?
Well, we with our track record, we probably could make stuff up and get like pretty much on the ball.
It's true. We've been stupid lucky when it comes to stuff.
Yeah.
And again, it's like, we were never on the front page of anything. No one ever gave us credit for our lucky guesses. We just made many lucky guesses.
With a man behind the man.
Man behind the myth. And hey, speaking of shit that, I think anyone could have called, not just us, the Venom movie has hit major delays, Matt.
Oh, what a shame. What a shame.
You mean I might have to wait a few months to find out if Tom Hardy will do a good job as everyone's fifth favorite Spider-Man character in a Spider-Man movie not connected to the Spider-Man Homecoming movie we like, but something completely different?
Oh, what a shame.
I know, right?
That one guy who's excited for anything Sony is just crying.
Also, too, it's like, what delays did it hit? I didn't even know they were that far along to hit delays. It sounds like they just have Hardy and that's it.
Yeah, I don't know what they were doing because, yeah, we heard Hardy was cast and then I think they did like some other little casting. But does it have a director?
If they do, I don't know it. I mean, there's been a bunch of ones rumored. I mean, maybe that's the delay. Maybe the rumor, maybe it's like, the director they kidnapped keeps escaping from the basement and they keep needing to hunt him down. Oh no, the director got out again.
His emails with Amy Pascal keep leaking.
Oh no. Oh no. Ruben Fleischer was the guy who was rumored to direct as of May.
Oh, okay then.
But again, the movie's hit a major production delay, so who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
Also, too, what's going to come out first? Is this Venom movie no one asked for going to come out first? Or is that Silver and Black Cat Silver Sable movie no one asked for going to come out first? Because that one actually has a release date.
Yeah, well, I actually haven't heard about anything around that movie since it was announced. Like, nothing has come out, like who's playing who, directors, anything.
Maybe it's not a good sign that you opened with a release date and nothing else.
They followed the DCEU plan of marketing. We'll take a date and we might do a movie on there, but we might not. I don't know.
Look, we're just saying save the date. We're saving the date so we remember. We work better under pressure. You gotta light a fire under our ass for us to get it done. That's how you know, Matt. It's how you know. I mean, let's do this because we like to do this on the show. Hypothetically, if they gave you, Matt, the reins to a Venom movie and you could do it the way you wanted and you could try and make it good, how would you do it?
I'd make it like John Carpenter's The Thing.
Right, you do straight up horror movie Venom?
Yeah.
Where he hops into anyone. Shit, I mean, the way I would go with it, and it sucks that they're not going to do it because they've already said it's going to be Eddie Brock and it's going to be a traditional Venom. I would say chuck out everything people think they know about Venom and just do Flash Thompson.
Yeah, I could see them probably doing something like that. Do we know if Tom Hardy's playing Eddie or Flash?
I don't know if it's 100% concrete yet, but he's probably playing fucking Eddie because that's the only Venom people know.
Yeah, that's true.
They're not going to get creative with it. At least this way you could get creative with it and you could make it like a war movie and be like, yeah. There was this kid. He went to a school, maybe with Peter Parker. Maybe he didn't. He was a bit of a dickbag and everything, but he was humbled by his military service. And when he lost his legs, they said, hey, put on this crazy alien costume and it will give you powers, but it might also fuck with your head because it's a living alien.
Yeah, that could be a really cool film, especially with like the war aspect, because you could play with like the PTSD sort of side of it.
Oh, yeah.
And Venom sort of leeching off of that and everything.
Exactly. Be like, hey, is this suit actually talking to me or am I just going crazy?
Yeah.
And in fact, the government and the military could lie to Flash and be like, no, you're just suffering, advanced side effects of the PTSD. Holy shit, it's talking to him.
Yeah.
And again, you would need next to no actual Spider-Man connection because that's more than enough pathos and drama to carry a movie, I feel.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's not the Eddie Brock people know from the comics, so they won't like, that character who is intrinsically tied to the character of Peter Parker and Spider-Man. I mean, I guess technically Flash is, connected too, but you don't really need him. You could, tell the same story and omit the parts with Peter Parker, at least for the origin.
Yeah.
It's a rough non-starter, but hey, it's not a non-starter. It's actually kind of cool. Six Flags announces 5 new Wonder Woman and Harley Quinn themed rides to their park.
Jesus Christ.
That's a lot of rides, and I was kind of cynical when I read this headline. I'm like, that's stupid. How many rides could you make out of Wonder Woman and Harley Quinn? Then I actually read what they had in mind for the rides, and I'm like, okay, that sounds kind of cool. Apparently, the 2 different ones that Harley is getting in the Northern California park is Harley's Crazy Coaster, and then the Spin Sanity ride, which they actually show some ways of how they're supposed to work. One of them's one of those roller coasters where it spins around and it pendulums back and forth at the same time.
Yeah.
And then you got Wonder Woman's Golden Lasso, which is literally just a straight shot with a bunch of crazy lasso turns. And I'm like, all right, okay.
Yeah, they actually have a bunch of them here at, I guess, what is our Six Flags? It's called Movie World. It's owned by Warner Brothers, so we get all the Arkham Asylum escape rides and Batman cool. Slingshots and Justice League versus the Legion of Doom rides and stuff like that.
See, I wish Canada had cool shit like that. I don't think we have a Six Flags here, or if we do, we don't have one in Ontario that I know of.
Yeah.
Here's another funny thing I didn't even know when researching all this, theme park ride stuff. Apparently, Cyborg already had a ride at Six Flags.
No one really know. No one, hey, he's got a ride. When did that open?
I think this might be the first time ever Cyborg beat anybody to anything, but yeah, it's called Cyborg Cyber Spin.
Okay. He's sort of a character who would have a theme park ride. That kind of makes sense.
Yeah, he's younger, he's hip, he's cool, he's a bit of adrenaline junkie, he played football. I mean, yeah, I think you could build a pretty cool theme park ride around Cyborg.
Yeah.
Now, whether they're going to build an interesting solo movie around him is yet to be seen. But that's okay, they have to 2020 to, really hammer out the dents in that one.
Yeah, and if he's not, they'll just pop him in a movie as a tag along with someone else. Flash 2 or something.
Yeah, Flash 2, Cyborg a Boogaloo. Flash 2, the Flashpoint, but with Cyborg.
Yeah.
Man, that's gotta be so bad for the Flash people. You wonder why that movie lost 2 directors already. reasons like that is probably why, where it's like, look, I know you were planning like a movie here and you had all these ideas and concepts and everything. Well, we're going to need you to throw that all away because we're turning this into a Flashpoint movie to try and fix any mistakes that we made because Ben Affleck might not be around after Justice League.
Yeah, we kind of have to like pivot, and this is the movie that we're pivoting on.
In fact, we were going to call it The Flash Pivot, but, we market researched that one. It didn't sound nearly as good.
Yeah, people like that animated movie, Flashpoint, so we'll name it that.
We're just taking that name because that's something people know and love. And hey, speaking of the DC universe and pivoting, apparently Jared Leto, everyone's least favorite incarnation of the Joker, is quite upset that they may get another actor to play the Joker in a possible Elseworld side universe that they're trying to build up.
Oh no. What a shame.
This is even funnier because this is the first time, seemingly, that Jared Leto has spoken up about this since he said that he felt like he was cheated in Suicide Squad 1.
Yeah, it's kind of like going back on his word. Like, yeah, he came out and said, like, that wasn't like the movie we were told we were making. I kind of hated it and everything. And then now he's like, hey, why aren't you including me in this after I've just said all this stuff?
Maybe because he heard, like, oh, yeah, it's going to be directed by... what is it, the Crazy Stupid Love guy, and it's going to be written by this, and oh, maybe Scorsese will be on to produce. Maybe Leto's like, well, fuck, that sounds way more interesting than the movie I was in. Put me in that. What? And I get to star? I don't need to, share my screen time with all these other motherfuckers? I want to be in that.
Well, that's like early talks. I'm sure they'll shoehorn Batman into it somehow.
Oh, of course they will. Well, because there's talk, too, where it's like, oh, yeah, it's going to be like a Leto origin movie. Or it might be a Natural Born Killers with him and Harley, or maybe both. We don't know. We just kind of floated the idea that we might like to do this, and we also might like to do Superman Red Sun at some point too.
God damn it! Please don't do Superman Red Sun.
We just have so many ideas here at DC and Warner Brothers, and we just really want to do them all, even if it makes no sense.
Well, that's the thing. Red Sun wouldn't make sense to the general audience. They would have no idea what the hell is going on.
But we cast John Hamm as Red Sun Superman. Oh,
that makes it all better.
Yeah, okay. I mean, like, I kind of want to see John Hamm as Superman. I mean, maybe not this version of Superman, but I mean, that'd be nice, I guess. And hey, speaking of Suicide Squad, Suicide Squad 2 is apparently delayed indefinitely due to Will Smith's schedule.
Oh, what a shame.
Yeah, I know, right? Also, too, man, what power and sway does he have where it's like, look, we're totally going to make it up for the sequel. We got the director from Warrior attached to this. It's going to be much better. It's going to be much more interesting. Oh, what's that Big Willie style? Can't make it? I mean, I guess we got to delay it indefinitely until he's okay. I mean,
Well, what they should have done with it is they should have made Suicide Squad, like, each movie is a different iteration of the team. So like you have the first one, which is like current comic one, and then the second one is like, oh, these people didn't work out because they fucked up everything, so we'll bring in a couple of new people or maybe 2 leftovers from the last team, and then sort of do that for each movie.
That's the beautiful thing about Suicide Squad. Exactly. And why you really don't need to be slave to any one schedule. The team is constantly changing. There is no one definitive lineup for it. There's usually Waller involved, and more often than not, Deadshot is involved with it. But you can really put whoever the fuck you want on it, and you can even deep dive into DC lore and grab guys who were never members and just say, yeah, okay, they're on it now.
Yeah, and if they did that, they could still give the guy who's meant to be playing Slade Wilson in the movie, since he's probably not going to be in the Batman movies, you just put him in that. He's the Deadshot, like stand-in.
Yeah, he's the replacement. Be like, hey, here's another guy in a mask with guns who's an assassin and shoots people.
Yeah, no one will know the difference.
And she's got a sword. God, that would suck if they kept doing that and they were really scraping the bottom of the barrel for the third one. Okay, who's our Deadshot replacement shootist guy for this one? Headhunter. He was in a popular 70s Batman 2-parter. And writers really like him, so he keeps showing up in the background of stuff.
Yeah, then eventually they get to like Kite Man.
Oh God, Suicide Squad 4, Kite Man, hell yeah!
And there's just a guy in a kite just flying around, crash landing and being beaten up by Batman or whoever the hero is in those movies.
Dude, if that's the case, then if you have a Kite Man-led Suicide Squad, it needs to be the Expendables of D-list villains. You need Kite Man, you need Crazy Quilt. Who else are we putting on that team of losers?
Calendar Man.
Oh yeah, Calendar Man. He can be on there.
Condiment King.
Oh yeah, God, yeah. Condiment King is the key to all of this. He is the heart of the film, Condiment King. He's the Diablo of this. We find out he actually has a very deep, very sad origin. Oh God, I'm trying to think who are some other really lame characters we can put on there. Who's a really lame like female character? Like who's a really lame villainess? From DC lore. You think I would know this? I'm like master of of lame DC villains.
Yeah, I only know like rather popular ones.
Because yeah, I mean, there's like ones who are always the popular punching bags and everything. Egg Foo Young. There's always a guy. He's just a big talking egg with a Fu Manchu. Who doesn't love that? Who wouldn't want him in your movie? Actually, there was a version of the Fiddler who was a woman, not the old crappy Flash one that everyone remembers, but like the newer one, who was actually in a Secret Six Suicide Squad story and was actually a member of the team. So there you go. Put Lady Fiddler on there.
There you go.
I mean, I guess the Clock King can be like the brains of the operation.
Yeah.
Ooh, or you could even pull out like the Prankster, who's like the Joker and the Riddler's horrible love child. Oh, I love pranks, don't you know? Pranks are so much fun. Woohoo! So yeah, there's our lame Expendables version of Suicide Squad for when they eventually get to Suicide Squad 4 and have to, totally scrape the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
I expect fan art on that one very soon. Concept art and storyboards of how that team would fit together.
yeah. Suicide Squad 10 is like the shittest team.
Suicide Squad 10 this time for money. Hey, speaking of shit characters who no one remembers, again, just to bring it back to Sony, we gave DC Warner Brothers a hard time, but just let's share the caustic love all over the place. Let's go back to Sony for a second. We talked about how, Venom was like everyone's fifth favorite Spider-Man character they're going to try and make a movie out of to stretch their non-Spider-Man holdings. Yeah. Well, guess what apparently is also in the works right now?
What's that?
A fucking Nightwatch movie. Do you know who Nightwatch is, Matt?
Vaguely.
Nightwatch looks like Spawn, everyone who doesn't know, and he looks like Spawn because Marvel really wanted Spawn at this time, because Spawn was really popular in the 90s when he was created.
Oh, God damn it.
Imagine a lamer rip-off bargain basement version of Spawn.
That's pretty terrible.
That's not great, especially around the same time when Todd McFarlane's like, oh, I'm gonna make my own Nightwatch, or I'm gonna make my own Spawn movie. You'll see. See, even McFarlane gets fucked up. Even he doesn't remember which one he made. The last thing of note that Nightwatch was actually in, he had disappeared and fallen off the face of the earth forever in Marvel, and with good reason, because he was hot garbage on toast. But the last thing of note he was actually in was, remember Charles Soule's She-Hulk run?
Yes.
It was really underrated, and it was really cool and everything. He turned out to be like the big overarching villain in that of the very end.
Well, if it was written by Charles Soule, it's probably pretty good.
It was pretty good, and it was also kind of like Charles Soule being like, ha ha ha, here's the mystery villain, a guy you never would have expected because he hasn't been around since 1993.
Yeah, he's been planning this the whole time.
Yeah, just to stick it to She-Hulk. But yeah, seriously, if you don't believe me, Google pictures of Nightwatch. It is shameless how much he looks like Spawn.
Yeah. So when this Todd McFarlane Spawn reboot, what studio is that with?
I think he might be doing it himself.
Oh, okay, yeah. So they probably want to try and beat him to the punch or something.
Possibly, which, again, the character basically only existed as a screw you to McFarlane, so I can see why they're like, hey, let's make this movie as a screw you to him, too.
Yeah.
It's funny too. That's not even like the first or last time that Marvel would try and like rip off Spawn. Remember Doctor Strange for like a good couple years there was rocking a Spawn costume?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They're like, hey, Doctor Strange, he never sells that great. Let's just make him into Spawn and see if that helps.
Yeah, Spawn with like magical fingers.
Yeah, who doesn't want that? That'll be great. Everyone will love and remember this forever and ever. And not for the wrong reasons, like why I remember it. But hey, it's not all doom and gloom in Nightwatch, because the same week Sony also promised that they're going to deliver a lighter, more grounded Crow movie. And yes, the Crow is technically a comic, so I feel okay talking about it on the comic multiverse, even though you could really just rename this segment shit only Joel cares about.
the Crow, you can't do lighthearted. The whole point of the Crow is a revenge story.
Yeah, that's like super gothy and with an amazing soundtrack.
Jesus Christ. Fucking Sony.
I was on the floor at Fan Expo when this news hit, and my Twitter blew up with like 50 people being like, oh god, somewhere Joel's crying right now. Yes, indeed. Yes, I was crying my mascara tears as I wrote in my Hot Topic journal about how horrible this is.
God damn it.
And when I say I love The Crow and I'm a lifelong Crow fan, what I really mean is I'm a fan of the one movie.
Not a fan of the other movies. That one movie.
I mean, like every sequel to The Crow was basically just a shitty remake of The Crow, which is a perfect reason why Sony shouldn't try and remake The Crow.
God, so Sony are like for the last like 2 years, 2, 3, 4 years, they've been in like panic mode. Like, what's gonna make an emoji movie? People like them emojis. We'll make a fidget spinner movie next, and then something else, whatever else the next meme is.
Yeah, people liked The Crow, right? And like, here's the funny thing, like, some people might get the wrong impression where it's like, oh, you guys just hate all remakes. If they never remade anything, you'd never get any of the few good ones. Hell, It is surprising everyone right now by actually being pretty decent.
It sounds like it's pretty decent. I haven't seen it yet, but yeah, it seems pretty decent.
By all account, people are digging it, and like they're digging it because they understood what worked about the original, and where to make the cutoff and what they needed to keep and what they needed to do.
Yeah.
It's making a shit ton of money too. It's going to actually probably end up being one of the more successful movies of the year. I think it's already like the most successful horror opening of the year.
I think so, yeah.
Which is shocking. I guess it's the perfect storm of people who remembered the original and so had nostalgia for it. And also, I think it also did a good job being like an actual real deal monster movie in an era of like only, haunting activity type movies.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, here's an actual monster. And I think it was able to, ride a couple trends from Stranger Things. I mean, shit, they have the main kid from Stranger Things being the main kid in this movie.
As Mike and Jay said on their Red Letter Media review of it, it's basically Stranger Things. Kids on bikes in the 80s.
Kids on bikes. It's a popular new genre. Actually, no, it's an old genre that's back again.
Yeah, it's an old Spielberg genre that's back.
Matt, when are we going to make our Kids on Bikes movie? When are we going to get some kids and some bikes?
That's going to be the next Sony movie, Kids on Bikes.
Kids on Bikes.
They're going to ride that wave.
They're going to ride that wave. It's like, look, okay, kids on bikes, also with emojis.
Yeah, emojis on bikes.
Emojis on bikes. Man, you're just hitching your star to them emojis, aren't you, Sony? It'll work, damn it.
I reckon they made that movie so they could copyright emojis.
Oh, I believe that, and if so, that's a dirty fucking trick.
Yeah, they probably did. So you can't use that because we technically own the word emoji.
God damn. The internet will just change it and call it something else.
Emoticon.
Emoticon. Yeah, bringing it back, bringing it old school. But also to bring it back to the beginning of this story, don't remake The Crow.
No.
Just don't do it. And don't remake Highlander while you're at it either.
Oh god, yeah, they're doing that as well. Jesus, no.
Look, if you gotta remake them, go full Kong of Skull Island and have The Crow versus Highlander. I was actually fan casting this one to try and think how you could make Crow and Highlander cross over. Because as far as nerd properties go, they never really crossed over, but they do kind of exist in this interesting place of one solid movie with about a dozen terrible sequels, both had great soundtracks, and like the main cast of those movies never really went on to do fuck all else.
Mm-hmm. Well, Brandon Lee has the, excuse that he actually fucking died. So.
Yeah. I mean, everyone else from Highlander, Lambert what was your excuse for not doing anything? You didn't take a prop bullet to the chest, but your career did.
Yeah, but he was French, so he was a weird Frenchie.
N'est-ce pas?
He's probably really famous over there.
He's also half blind now too. That's another thing why he never did. By like Highlander Endgame, he could barely see.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's how sad that one is. But yeah, I'm trying to think, like, how could you do a Crow Highlander crossover? I'm trying to think thematically. Like, the Crow is all about defying death for a short amount of time, being immortal essentially until you get your revenge, and Highlander's all about you can only kill them by chopping off the head, which indeed is how you can kill a crow too.
Well, you have like someone like the Kurgan or something kill someone, and they come back to life as the spirit of vengeance, the crow, and who also just happens to be an immortal, and that's how you sort of bring that into together.
Yeah, I'm trying to think how you put that together, or make it be like a villain wants to steal both like the power of the game and the power of the crow, because he thinks, if I have the crow powers, then I will have a better chance of winning the Highlander game and getting whatever the fuck the prize is. Even I don't goddamn know what the prize is. No one knows what the prize is, but I think a smart writer could bring that together of being like, well, Highlanders and Crows, they've been fighting a shadow war for thousands of years, and the two halves of the same coin, and the Dark Knight's metal and everything.
Yeah, I was about to say that sounds a lot like metal.
That's what Scott Snyder started doing. He started writing a Crow Highlander crossover, but by the time it was done, it was a Batman Justice League thing.
He couldn't get the rights to the Crow because Sony had them, so he had to, I'll just make it Batman.
Fuck, it's Batman then, whatever. It's fine, you'll all love it. And also Dream shows up. But hey, you know what? Apparently Fox heard what Sony was saying about a lighter, more grounded movie, because they're like, hey, we have this X-Men Phoenix movie starting, and we're also promising that it will be a more grounded movie.
Yeah, because grounded is what I really want in like an X-Men mutant with all these fantastical powers movie.
Yeah, that's not a good word, guys. It worked for Christopher Nolan like almost 10 years ago now, and he's like, yeah, friggin' Batman Begins, it'll be a more grounded, realistic Batman movie, the likes of which you've never seen before. You just don't get to add that to your superhero movie and hope we'll like it.
I think that's like what people are doing nowadays. Like since Batman Begins, everywhere has been added, it's more grounded than the first one or the sequel or something. So they just add that word in thinking it sounds smart, or people are going to go see it because it's not going to be just wacky superhero stuff.
Also, too, how the fuck do you do a grounded version of the goddamn Phoenix?
We see that they're on the ground.
Oh.
That's what they meant.
Oh, no, they don't actually go to space. They're grounded the whole time. Professor X grounds them, and they have to go to the room.
I bet that's what they fucking meant. They're not going to space. They're just going to stay on Earth. They're grounded. They're literally grounded. They're teenagers who are grounded. You've defeated Apocalypse. You're grounded, young man.
Go to your room without dessert. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. And Jean's all like, oh, I'm angry now. Phoenix powers, activate. Ooh. That's how it happens. It's the movie. That'll be $10 plus popcorn.
Yep.
Hope you'll like it. Be sure to come back for Deadpool, and X-Force, and whatever else we're doing.
Yep.
Which, hey, speaking of which, for X-Force, didn't they get the former showrunner of Daredevil Season 1 is going to be directing that X-Force movie now?
Yeah, Drew Goddard's going to be directing it, so it probably will be pretty good.
Right on. He did a good job.
Yeah, I don't know if he's writing it, because when he writes it, his stuff is really, really good, like Cabin in the Woods and Daredevil and everything, so yeah, maybe he's writing it, I don't know.
I hope he does end up having a hand in it, because I do like his writing. Like you said, he has a good track record.
Yeah.
And actually, this is a perfect segue, because speaking of which, hey, Daredevil Season 3, they put out a casting call for a potential new villain in Season 3, and everyone believes that it's Stanley Carter, the Sin Eater.
Cool. I don't know who that character is.
Sin Eater was a character that actually came around during the Jean DeWolf saga, and also like right around the original Venom storyline too. Basically, he was a cop. Well, actually, no, he like started as an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. and he got like shot up with a bunch of science juice that made him super strong. But like he was also a total zealot and fanatic and believed that people weren't doing enough to punish criminals. So he got fired and got busted down to be an NYPD cop because, you know, you can be a fanatical zealot and a cop and be an asshole and it's fine. And no one will look at you both ways because, you know, it was the style at the time. It was the 80s, unlike today when that stuff doesn't fly at all.
No.
We're on video so people
wink,
can see
wink.
what I... You see, every time I make a cheeky joke like that, everyone, I've been winking. It's just because we haven't been on video and you haven't been able to see me winking. But you felt the wink was there. I think that's cool, actually, to have Sin Eater be a villain in a Daredevil show, because, again, much like the Punisher, he's a really interesting little inversion of Daredevil. You know, Stanley Carter is a cop supposed to uphold law and order, much like how Matt Murdock is a lawyer and he's supposed to uphold law and order, but they both believe that the system is flawed and broken and that they need to put on costumes and go out into the night and fight crime their own way.
Yeah, and of course, because the show loves it so much, he'll be, I guess, related to the Hand, and he'll be a ninja.
well, it's funny. Here's the thing: like, Sin Eater started off as just a dude with a gun, but eventually they would bring him back, and he would like have some crazy sin-eating demon powers in him.
Yeah, I don't think the show will probably do that. They'll probably do it something similar to how Elektra was in Defenders. She'll be like a possessed person, and he'll be like super strong and be able to fight Matt at like punch for punch.
I could also see him being like a really interesting like minor threat where it's like, you know, Daredevil's fighting Kingpin or something, but he sees like all these ritualistic killings going on in the background and being like, man, should really deal with that when I get a minute.
Yeah, I could see him maybe being like a villain that ends halfway through the season.
Could also be an interesting mystery because it's like, hey, here's new character, Officer Jean DeWolf and her partner, Stanley Carter, and they're on the trail of the killer, and it's like, oh, who could the killer be? It's a big mystery. We need Daredevil's help, only for the big stinger to be like, oh, shit, it was Stanley all along. Yeah,
that could be pretty cool. They go, like, they stray away from all the ninja hand stuff and just go, like, full-on crime like the first season.
Yeah, I would like that. And also, hey, too, Sin Eater, if this is true, Sin Eater is a Spider-Man character.
Yeah.
So that means they're playing nice with them, and that means we could see more Spider-Man characters that they'd never touch in the movies show up in the Netflix show.
Well, do you think, like, they probably are playing nice, but do you think, like, it's because it is Sin Eater? It's like, oh, no one gives a shit about him, you know? He's not some A-list villain, you know?
That probably helps a ton, that he's like, no, we would never do him in a movie in a million years. But I'm super excited about this because that means we're that much closer to what I've been pitching forever, and that is, okay, Luke Cage Season 3, Tombstone is the villain.
That'd be pretty cool.
Again, because, Lonnie Lincoln and Luke Cage have a lot in common, and they are kind of dark, cracked, mirrored versions of each other. And Tombstone can take a punch, which means that he could go one-on-one with Luke Cage. I think that would be some amazing television.
Yeah, do we know who the villain is for Season 2 of Luke Cage? Because that's, like, filming at the moment.
Yeah, they got a couple people they cast who could be potential villains. There's I don't know if he's Bushmaster, not Bushman. Bushman is a night, is a Moon Knight villain.
I think it's Bushmaster. I do remember hearing something about a Bushmaster or something.
Right. Bushmaster, who is a completely throwaway Luke Cage villain, as sadly most of his villains are. But what's interesting about him is he actually has more of a storied history with Misty Knight, so he's more of a Misty Knight villain than he is anything else.
Yeah, well, she's coming back. She's got her robotic arm as well.
She's got her fucking robot arm, and awesome. It looks dope. Looks dope as hell. Cannot wait for that. That's going to be sweet. Also, too, another thing they were talking about for Daredevil Season 3, that it might be very heavily based on the Bourne storyline, given how it ended with, you know, Matt all fucked up and in the care of his mother in the church.
Yeah, well, yeah, that panel right at the end of Defenders was like literally a pull from the Born Again storyline, like him on the bed in the church and everything.
Was basically shot for shot. And crazy thing about Bourne too that they could totally do, it involves Matt, kind of coming to himself again after, having his, world shock. Also involves him fighting the Kingpin, which means D'Onofrio can come back. And he also meets a bunch of other Marvel heroes, which in that case was like Captain America and the Avengers, but you could easily sub them out for any of the Defenders. He also fights Nuke in that story, and we saw Nuke get created in Jessica Jones, so it would be awesome to see him show back up in Daredevil.
Yeah, it's all starting to come together. Hopefully it happens like that.
Yeah, all the pieces are in place. You do that, you throw in a nice B-plot about Sin Eater, and I think there's going to be some pretty fucking good TV right there.
Yeah, again, it's like phase 1 of the MCU, whereas like once that was over, anything was possible. And
anything was possible.
Defenders is now a phase 1 of the Netflix shows is over. Anything's now possible.
It's true. It's funny, as I sit here and think about Sin Eater, I'm also reminded there that his costume is absolutely ridiculous. Do you know what he dresses like?
What's that?
Purple onesie, green ski mask. It's a fucking hideous costume. That's one of the few times where I'm like, you know what, Netflix, it's fine. Don't put this guy in the costume. It's okay.
I don't think a lot of people will be complaining.
No, he can just be a mysterious serial killer by the name of Sin Eater. Heck, you know what? You could have a little joke in there where, like, Daredevil finds his murder room and finds his murder bag, and it's like, oh, lime green ski mask and purple onesie. Like, maybe they just find, like, a little piece of purple fabric at the crime scene. It's like, oh, this was from the killer.
Yeah.
You could do that, and that would be fine, and everything would be okay. Moving on from there to another piece of news that I think had everyone talking about. Some promotional images came out for Doomsday Clock, the next big, huge DC event, after Metal, wherein Batman seems to be reading Rorschach's journal.
Yeah, we don't know how he got it, but as I said on Twitter when that was released, that's probably going to be the extent of Rorschach's involvement with it. He's not going to, come out of a portal of the Speed Force and just like whack Batman in the face with a crowbar or something,
Yeah.
He's going to be telling the truth of the Watchmen, what happened in Watchmen through the journal.
I like that. I'm A-okay with that, with Batman just reading this artifact, and we get to know Rorschach through the book. I'm totally okay with that.
Yep, so am I.
Which, it would be funny. I actually really want to know what Batman feels about Rorschach. How does he sum him up? Where he's like reading the book and being like, whoa, this dude had some fucking problems.
Yeah, you probably think, is this guy the Joker?
Yeah, this guy would not be able to cut it in my world. I would have put a stop to this dude a long time ago.
He is mentally ill. He needs help from Arkham.
Also, sentence fragments all over the place. That's all right, dude. Be grammatically correct, like Alfred makes me be. But yeah, so that was the Doomsday Clock. It's hard to believe that we got all this crazy earth-shaking shit that's happening in Metal, and that's not even the Watchmen thing.
No, it's going to be linked. I imagine by the end of it, there'll be links to it and everything. But yeah, there's just all this stuff that's going on. The second issue comes out this week, I think, coming.
Yes, it does.
We've only had technically one issue, and we're already like hip deep in everything.
I know, right? It's friggin' nuts.
Yeah,
nuts, I tell you.
And we have Oz Effect this week, and then
that's right.
At like the end of October, we have Doomsday Clock.
Holy shit!
Jesus Christ.
We're gonna be busy, but that's good, Matt. That means we won't be out of work until at least October. The ass will not fall out of this pyramid at least until then. Hell, this was a light week for comics. I didn't know what the fuck to do with myself.
It was kind of a light week, yeah. I've still got a couple of reviews to do, but yeah, it was lighter than what next week's going to be.
Yeah, like I might actually get my shit done on time this week, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess with that, we can segue right into what we read this week. Would you like to go first, Matt?
You can go first.
Okay, what did I read this week? Oh, I mean, I guess I'll start with something I read just recently. Green Arrow number 30, the penultimate issue in this hard traveling hero storyline.
Yeah, I read this one as well. This was a great issue.
It was, quite fittingly, Ollie's last friend that he meets on this, crazy road trip is Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern, his oldest friend, and the original hard traveling hero.
Yeah, and they kind of have like a reintroduction sort of like
They do.
put all their stuff that happened in New 52 behind them, said that didn't happen. This is us meeting for the first time.
It's a beautiful moment of retconning where it's like, man, that costume you wore was stupid. Agreed. You back on Earth now? Yep. Let's just sweep all that unfortunateness just right under the rug like none of it happened, and let's have a fun space adventure in my space truck.
Yeah, that was really cool.
I like that's what Hal creates for them to go on their adventure. 3, 2, 1, space truck.
Yeah, floating space truck.
Hop in my space truck. Let's go on an adventure. Yeah, that's not really much to say about that. It's just, Green Arrow, Green Lantern, go to space, shoot the shit. It's a fun time.
Yeah, they get a little bit closer to breaking up the Ninth Circle, and what's the last issue going to be? Is it like all the Justice League with him, or?
Well, I think it's the fallout of them in space, but yeah, I mean that would only be thematically fitting that the entire Justice League comes to help him defeat the Ninth Circle.
Yeah, because I think the issue after that one is the Metal tie-in.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, Green Arrow, weirdly, out of all the books, gets a freaking Metal tie-in.
Yeah, he's actually going to be in this week's Metal as well. There's like previews of him helping the Justice League track down Batman.
I wonder if that was their idea when it came to picking tie-ins for Metal, where it's like, look, we could do it for all like the Batman, Wonder Woman, Supermans, but they're all kind of busy doing their own stories right now and they don't need the help. Let's give it to all the second-tier books that could use the extra boost in sales.
Yeah, well, from just seeing, like, following, like, Greg Capullo and Scott Snyder when they, like, show little teasers of art from, like, future issues, they seem to imply that, like, the Trinity, or at least the main Justice League, are all going to be involved in Metal. It's not just going to be a Batman thing. So having, like, their ongoing sort of tie into that wouldn't really add anything to the story, but Green Arrow would.
It would, and Nightwing, and Teen Titans, and even Suicide Squad all get ones.
Yeah, I think Teen Titans actually get one this week as well.
Yeah, and then everyone else, like Flash and Cyborg and some other ones, they get their own little mini event on top of it too.
Mm-hmm.
They got like a mini crossover, so that's some very smart marketing for this one.
Yeah, they've actually thought about it.
Yeah, they thought about it. What books should get tie-ins? We're not going to give superfluous books tie-ins, but the ones we do give are ones that could probably use a little boost, a little pick-me-up, a little shot.
Yeah.
What else did you have this week, Matt?
I had Superman issue 30.
This one was tight, just like the freaking cover alone on this one is mind-blowing.
Yeah, this one was really good. A little two-parter for the Sinestro Corps Parallax tie-in with Superman, which was really
probably
cool.
My favorite little two-parter they've done is like breathers in between the bigger arcs.
Yeah, and it's not written by Peter J. Tomasi either.
No, I got that wrong, actually. In my review, I thought it was, but turns out it wasn't.
Yeah, I think like the last couple of little books haven't been written by him because I think he's busy with like Oz Effect and stuff like that.
It's smart. Give the main artist and writer team a break. Here's two two-and-done stories to break up all the bigger arcs, which all the books are doing now.
Yeah, which is really great.
Again, it's because doing it that way, we haven't gotten a late book yet, and no artist or writer has burned out yet.
Keeps it fresh. Marvel could learn a thing or two.
They could. Just saying, guys, maybe, I'm not saying steal the idea wholesale, but maybe do something.
This issue was really great with Superman fighting Sinestro, and it also acted as sort of like a teaser for like things that might come. Where Superman being shown his greatest fears and everything, and I like some of his greatest fears as well. We've got obviously like the people who he can't help. We've got Lois who, and I think this might be a nod to the original Earth 2 Superman, whose Lois died of like a cancer disease.
Right.
She was going to be diagnosed with something, and then we have John
that Superman couldn't help with.
Yeah, then we have John who's again turned to the dark side. Again, kind of referencing the Manchester Black storyline. Something that could still happen to him.
Awesome thing, too, about that panel where, like, John falls to the dark side. There's some great cameos in the background of heroes that he's killed. Miss Martian is there.
Yeah, the Teen Titans, by the looks of it. So maybe we'll be getting a shake-up in the Teen Titans.
Well, it's funny. It's actually, that team is much closer to the TV version of Young Justice, because you had Miss Martian, Blue Beetle, Tim Drake, Robin, and what looked to be Aqualad all up there. And I'm like, ooh, wouldn't that be interesting? John goes and joins the Young Justice team. Damian has the Teen Titans, and you have two teen books running at once.
That'd be pretty cool.
That would be interesting, and you could play up like a fun rivalry between them, where John's like, fine then, Damian, I don't need your stupid team. I'm gonna go form my own team with blackjack and hookers.
Yeah, but that was a really cool issue, and I think we also got like a little teaser of like Metal as well,
yes.
with that Doomsday, with the Devastator or whatever it's called, and holding Batman's spine.
Yeah, just messing everything up. I like that Superman not only defeats Sinestro, but he frees the Weaponers, and like he does more for the Weaponers in like 15 minutes than Sinestro has done for them his entire life.
Yeah, and it like pays off as well. Like he saves that Weaponer. The Weaponer sees that he saved him and is actually helping him, and then helps him in the end. I thought that was really great.
That was nice, and also someone pointed out to me, those are good friends to have on your side.
Yeah.
The greatest weapon makers in the multiverse.
Yeah, they are.
Be like, hey, Superman, you gotta fight Dr. Manhattan, you gotta fight a god. Maybe go ask your buddies, the Weaponers, to build you something.
Yeah, build us a weapon to kill the Blue Dong.
Yeah, wouldn't that be a fuck of a callback? Superman's like, hey, remember a couple months ago when I saved you guys from Sinestro and, you know, rescued your whole culture from destruction? I'm here to collect on this one.
I need to make the biggest weapon you got.
Make the biggest, baddest, most destructive weapon ever. Maybe not something radioactive, though. I'm pretty sure Blue Dong is radioactive. I just need a big old god bomb. Can you do me a solid here, guys? That was fun. Yeah, that was just a really good two-shot.
It was.
Really, really solid. A Marvel book I read this week. I read the new Generations, the Iron Man and Ironheart.
I did as well.
This one threw me for a loop. All the other Generations books have been taking place in the past. This one jumped to the far-flung future.
Yeah, it was quite weird. I'm not really sure why.
Well, I think I know what it's about. Follow me on this one and tell me if you like this theory. So in Infamous Iron Man, Doctor Doom sees the future from this book, and he sees Sorcerer Supreme Tony Stark, right?
Yep.
Then Riri goes here in this future. Eventually, Infamous is going to end, and it's going to fuse back over with Invincible Iron Man. I feel like Bendis is planting seeds for what he's going to do when Tony comes back.
Maybe, but as well, when I was like reading this book, I'm like, this is just so Bendis can have all his own creations in it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. Dude, they run into the fucking Avengers next, which are characters that I think only Bendis cares about.
Yeah, they were in his Avengers run and everything. But yeah, it was just like characters he cares about and like as made recently, like the Sorcerer Supreme Tony Stark and everything. And it felt really weird, I guess, because it was in the future. And
yeah. And the art kept changing too, because it was Marco Ruby who did it. Here's the thing, I thought that book just had a million fill-in artists. No, apparently that's just his style. He's a multimedia artist who does like a million different styles. That's his thing.
It was really jarring where you'd have really nice like big panels of like Morgan Le Fay fighting or not fighting Sorcerer Supreme Tony Stark, and then like changed his art the next page, and it's really weird.
It was weird because the story didn't feel like it warranted changing every 5 pages. It would be one thing if it's like, it's a crazy, trippy world where, like the hero got drugged and is now seeing through this haze where everything is different.
Yeah, and like with all these generations, the hero kind of has to learn a lesson or like be imparted some type of wisdom from the older hero. And this one, Riri's lesson was like to remember she's like an inventor and futurist, and like, well, she never really forgot that.
It's true. It's funny because you're right. Like all the other generations have followed the same pattern of like, hey, here's an important piece of information to take back with you to your time. Here's something that kind of changes your outlook. This was basically just future Tony being like, yo, the future's fucking awesome, right? Maybe go back to your time and make your future awesome too.
Yeah. And they kept like referencing like what she's gonna do in the future. Like she's a big deal around the galaxy. Dr. Riri Williams, she's really big deal.
But they can't tell her though, because that'll ruin the future.
Yeah. What I was hoping is I was hoping it would be something similar to like the Wolverine one, where she goes back in time to like Demon in the Bottle Tony. He's like drunk and like at his wit's end, and it's Riri who gives him like his mojo back.
Right.
Makes him a futurist again.
It is fun. I don't know if Mitch said this or who said this, but it's like you could really only go to the future with Tony Stark because he's not a good role model at any point in time you would find him. Where it's like, yeah, if you went back to Demon in the Bottle, Tony, oh God, I was wrong. Look at me. Or if you go back to like Civil War, Tony, I'm going to start a war for flimsy reasons. Riri can't really learn anything from him on those days, can she? Or if she did, it would be like, wow, Tony's a terrible role model.
Yeah.
Why did I model myself after him? He's a fuck up.
That would have even been a really good like sort of play on what everyone's learned something, and Riri learns that like the person she's sort of inspired by isn't who he sort of says he is, and he's kind of a shitty teacher.
That he's a little weak. I think people would fucking flip out about that because people have already chosen Riri to be the lightning rod poster child about everything they hate for modern Marvel.
Yeah.
But then again, those people are going to freak out no matter what you fucking do, so you should just do a crazy story if you want to do a crazy story.
Yeah.
I mark my words, though, I bet this crazy Sorcerer Supreme Tony future is coming back at some point. Ben just wouldn't have mentioned it twice if he doesn't have like a whole event planned for it later.
Yeah, that'll be the next Marvel event in Legacy, because remember Legacy's tagline, every story is an event.
Yeah. This will be the Iron Man event.
Yeah.
That'll bring everything together. It'll be the Iron Age.
Yeah.
It'll be all of it happening at once. What else did you have, Matt?
Let's look through my list here. I had Batman issue 30.
Yes, the continued ventures of Kite Man, which I both kind of loved and kind of hated simultaneously.
Yeah, I liked it because again we got an interlude and it felt like it was inhabited by stuff that was in tie-ins.
Yeah, well, it's funny. They call it an interlude, and yet they drop more important information in this issue than they have in any of the other ones that have preceded it.
Yeah, and Kite Man's like team ups with all like the like Mr. Freeze and Man Bat. They all felt like things like you could have checked this out in Man Bat and Kite Man issue 1.
They really did. And
they just like shoved them all in these interludes because I don't know, they didn't want to seem like they were after money or something. I don't know.
It makes me laugh even more so because the whole framing device of this story is that this is Batman telling to Catwoman after he just proposed to her and after they just banged. I can only imagine Catwoman sitting there on the bed smoking a cigarette. They've ordered Chinese. And she's just like, wow, Bruce, that was a really long fucking story you told me. And why did you keep stopping every 15 minutes to tell me stuff about Kite Man you weren't even there for?
Yeah, it seems pretty weird. You're pretty obsessed with this Kite Man dude.
It's like that bit from The Simpsons where like the Indian mystic shows Bart the future. And it's like, why did you put a story in there about Marge and Homer looking for Lincoln's gold? Oh, I guess the spirits thought the story was a little thin and needed some padding.
That's exactly it.
This is Batman being like, oh, sorry, silly, I thought the story was a little thin and needed some padding. Thought I'd just dream up some shit about Kite Man. Also, too, where even though I definitely felt more for Kite Man in this issue, because, they build this whole thing where he's like, he never says die, and he's not afraid of being a joke, and he just gets back up there, because being a Kite Man is what he believes in, man. At the same time, I can't shake the feeling where it's like, I don't feel bad for you, Charlie Brown, because literally everything that's happened to you has been your fault the entire way.
Yes, I said that in my review. Everything he encounters is his own doing.
Like, what is it? Like Charles Schultz, like the Shocker is a weirdly sympathetic villain because he gets beaten up all the time and he's too dumb to know any better. And he's not even that good. He can only shock and everything, and he's not smart. Mm-hmm. And you feel bad for him. Like Two-Face and Clayface, these are sympathetic villains because they have like a mental illness holding them back and everything, and you see the good inside them. Charlie Brown was always a shit. Before Kite Man and after Kite Man, nothing really changed.
No, not really. All that changes is he flies around on a kite.
Yeah, that's it. And, like, I actually got into a spirited discussion with someone who's like, no, Batman was picking on him the whole time and everything. And I'm like, but was he, though? Kite Man was clearly smart enough to go work for the Joker to go build him his Joker mobile, so clearly he was squandering some engineering knowledge. 2, he chose to hang out at the bad guy bar where Batman picked him up to turn him into an informant. He chose to squeal on all those other villains, you know. Then the Riddler killed his son in retaliation, and he chose to put on a costume and chose to go work for the Joker.
Yeah, and Batman chose him because Batman knew he was a fuck up.
Exactly.
And that's why they engineered it so he would be the last Joker villain on his side.
Yeah, because he's too fucking stubborn to know when to quit and to know when it's all over.
Yeah, they used it against him.
They did. You know, it's kind of funny, and like it kind of comes back to what I've been saying this whole time about Tom King, where I think secretly at the end of the day he took this gig because he wants to subtly take the piss out of Batman and see if anyone will notice. Because I think the moral of this story was, you know, Kite Man doesn't care, he's a joke, and Kite Man's not afraid to lose, and Kite Man's not afraid to look silly. Meanwhile, Batman is so afraid of failure and so afraid of looking silly, he throws in with Riddler a child murderer just to stop the war of jokes and riddles.
Yeah, and that has me like wondering, like, obviously this takes place in the past. It's like, what, a year after Batman's actually been around or something?
It's after 0 year, so it's like
Yeah.
it's year 0.5.
Yeah, so like, is Riddler gonna like remember this and like come back for Batman for like a favor or something? Is that like what this is building to? Like, he's gonna tell Selina the story and then it's gonna cut to him going to Riddler for something? Or
I guess. Also, can we talk about this too? Riddler got a great end of this deal. He got the money, he got Batman to do his dirty work, and in return, he just had to not have his guys kill people.
Yeah, that's what, like, in retrospect, that issue where they had like the dinner and everything, and he was trying to sort of convince either side which side he would go with Bruce, and I'm like, why would he even choose Joker? Like, he wouldn't choose Joker. This is Batman we're talking about. Of course he's going to go with Riddler. Why give a choice? Why a choice?
It's pretty obvious. It's like, it's crazy too. You know what my favorite part of this issue was? It was the bit with Cluemaster of all people, because Cluemaster actually answered the questions I wanted answered from issue 1. And that is, why is anyone working with the Joker, period, when the Joker offers nothing to anyone who joins him?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that is, oh, well, you know, we're scared of him, and if we don't work for the Joker, we're afraid he'll kill us, even though you have people like Man-Bat and Mr. Freeze, who are incredibly powerful metahumans and should be able to deal with the Joker easily. But hey, he's the crazy, unpredictable Joker. He's the devil, whatever. I'll take a weak answer over no answer.
Yeah.
Is what I'll take. But Cluemaster says something truly hilarious there, too, where he's like, look, we can't leave the fight, or else the Joker will kill us. But if Batman beats us up, if we let him win, then we get to be taken off the battlefield and go to the hospital and stuff. That hit me too. I'm like, is Tom King saying the only reason Batman is winning these fights early on in his career is because the villains are letting him win?
They're like taking advantage of that no kill rule. It's like, oh, Batman won't kill me. He'll beat me up a little bit, but he won't ever kill me. I can do whatever I want.
Yeah. Again, it's just like, I don't know if Tom King is purposely saying these things or if it's just coming out that way, because I don't think I'm crazy reading into this here. Like you got to admit, even if you don't agree with me, you got to admit I give a lot of evidence to this.
Yeah.
I've put a lot of thought into this. Here's the funny thing. Again, I went to Fan Expo this week. Tom King was there. I was one of the first people in line for his booth. I talked to him about how much I liked Mr. Miracle. Very nice man.
Yeah, Miss Miracle is really good.
It is. I can't wait for issue 2. Tom King, he's super positive. He's super, like, you know, hyped and just happy to talk about comics and happy to shake my hand. I might not always like his Batman, but as a human being, he gets a 10 on 10. He's a good guy. If you're out there, Tom King, I don't always like your Batman, but I think you're all right. Which, you know, is more than I can say for guys like Scott Lobdell, where it's like, well, your work sucks and you suck as a human being too. You're a twofer. You're a twofer on the crap bag Olympics. So again, I guess from Batman to Daredevil, I read issue 26 this week. This is the kickoff of a brand new arc called The Land of the Blind.
Okay.
And basically, I guess you haven't been keeping up with Daredevil, have you, Matt?
No, I might try and, like, it's going back to its original numbering, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Well, here's the funny thing. they're already doing Legacy, and Legacy hasn't even started yet.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
In the last arc, which was called Supreme, and you could very easily just pick up at Supreme and read if you want, Matt Murdock tries super hard to push a brand new law that would allow superheroes to actually give evidence at trials.
Mm-hmm.
He has to take this all the way to the Supreme Court, which the Kingpin doesn't like, so he hires like this really evil lawyer from Charles Soule's She-Hulk book to come and argue against him.
Oh no, it's going to be Nightwatch.
No, it was legal. It wasn't
going to rip off a
Nightwatch.
mask. It's Nightwatch.
It was fucking Nightwatch all along. It wasn't him, but man, fuck, it could have been. But yeah, so he beats him. He gets Foggy Nelson's help to push this through, and then at the end of it, Daredevil ditches his black costume and puts on his red suit again.
Oh, cool.
So in basically one arc, Kingpin is the overarching villain again. Red suit, Foggy Nelson. In like one issue, they brought back the entire status quo.
There you go.
There you go. And so in this newest one, they're kind of wrapping up what happened with Matt's would-be sidekick, Blind Spot, from when this whole Charles Soule's run started.
Mm-hmm.
You remember him?
Vaguely, yeah.
He had an invisibility suit, a supervillain, like, literally gouged out his eye, so he, like, went back to China with his cultist mom. He's in trouble, so Daredevil's got to go all the way to, like, the jungles of China to save him. And, of course, because this is Daredevil in a story revolving Asia, the hand ninjas are already there.
Of course.
Of course. And seemingly they've taken control of Blind Spot now, and they've given him, like, these really creepy, like, blue White Walker eyes and a cool black costume, and he's fighting Daredevil now.
Cool.
Yeah. It's a cool kickoff to this new series. I was about it. I like where this is going.
Nice.
I'm all about it.
Okay, what did I have? I had Justice League issue 28.
Yes, this is the continued crazy future shit with the Justice League next, basically.
Yeah, I can't remember if I talked about the previous issues on one of our shows, but
I think you did.
Yeah, like the first issue of this arc was fucking awful. It didn't establish anything. It just said, hey, these are the kids of the Justice League, and this kid, it might be Superman and Wonder Woman's kid, and then the second issue came out, and it kind of like, it's like, no, this is the first issue of this arc. Don't read that issue. just read this issue, because it explained everything. It explained that Hunter Prince is Clark's surrogate son, who Wonder Woman gave up because men aren't allowed on Themyscira.
Ooh, that's harsh.
Even though there are men on Themyscira. And
for the purposes of this story, there are no men on Themyscira.
And so Clark and Lois took him in, and he grew up with John, and he kind of resented John because it says John was like picking on him with like Damien. I'm like, bullshit. John wouldn't do that. John wouldn't do
John,
that.
the sweetest, nicest kid who we've already established is basically Jesus 2.0. Damn it, Brian Hitch.
Yeah, and all these kids came from this future where the Sovereign destroyed everything. No one knows who the Sovereign is, although it's obviously Wonder Woman.
The Sovereign is David Bowie. I've seen Venture Brothers.
Cyborg and Aquaman are like fused now and called Curry. Yes, they just called him Curry. It's so weird.
Curry Man.
And he travels back in time when the kids travel back in time and beats the fuck out of Batman. And the kids, this new issue is just like the kids going off with their respective parents, and it's really weird because it's a really good issue because it's just talking. There's like no action, and it's just like Clark and Hunter talking and sort of trying to figure out what exactly is going on. And they used to be, father and son, and Hunter's kind of disillusioned because of this future. Everything's been destroyed and killed, and Superman had a chance to stop it, but Superman didn't stop it because it would require him killing thousands of people. And
fuck you, Dad.
Yeah, it's basically that. And then they find out that Wonder Woman is sovereign, and they have to kill Wonder Woman now.
This sounds like all the reasons why I stopped reading Brian Hitch's Justice League.
This story is it just reads as like one of Hitch's JLA issues. I believe that after his Row story, if that book was to continue, this would have been the second arc.
Oh, I bet.
Because
I bet he had
there's like stuff in here that shouldn't be in here. that makes sense with when you're reading it in the New 52 JLA. Like they glance over like John being killed. Like they just say, "Oh, he died in the future. He's not part of this story. He's just going to be shifted over to the side. He died with Lois."
Oh fuck.
Yeah, and it
because
just
I
reads...
didn't invent this character.
Yeah, but this character wasn't around when I originally wrote the story, so I'm just going to put a little one sentence in here. And yeah.
You know what I bet? I bet when he got the gig for main Justice League, he went over to his JLA folder on his computer in Office. He then like back-clicked it and renamed it Justice League Story Ideas.
I believe that is exactly what happened, because every one of these stories reads like a follow-up to like Rao just tried to destroy the world. He had to keep topping it with every other story and everything, and yeah, he's going to be off in 2 issues anyway, so...
Yeah, he will, and I will look back at Justice League and see what up.
Yeah, they haven't actually named a writer yet who's going to be filling in.
No, they haven't.
So I don't... Come on, Jeff Johns.
Yeah, come on, Jeff Johns. Yeah, that would be fine. Hey, apparently Jeff Johns and Hickman have been having dinner.
Ooh, Hickman Justice League, yes please.
Imagine that. Actually, I would really like Hickman on that mysterious JSA book that keeps coming and going.
Well, it's funny because like someone was talking to Brian Hitch and he mentioned he wants to do something with the JSA, and yeah, exactly. But the thing is, he said, I want to do what I did with the Ultimates, but with the JSA. And I'm like, that does not fucking work. Like, you cannot put Ultimates in the JSA. That's not how it works.
Hey, Jeff Lemire's coming back. Maybe they'll give him a crack at Justice League.
Yeah, give it to Jason Aaron. He's off Star Wars and off like most of the main books. So
is he exclusive with Marvel, Jason Aaron? I think he might be.
Maybe? I don't know.
I think he might be exclusive with, because I don't see him write anything else, just Marvel and his own series.
Yeah, he maybe, yeah.
Which, hey, ain't a bad gig when you can get it.
Yeah.
That he's, like, making enough money that he doesn't have to go work for both companies at the same time. But yeah, I mean, hey, anything DC by Jason Aaron would be off the hook. I don't think... Has Jason Aaron written anything for DC?
I'm going to have to look now.
I don't think he has. All the Jason Aaron series I can think of were all Marvel or Independents.
His name is on the DC website. So what has he done?
Maybe some backups. Unless I'm just
Scalped
really
is technically a DC comic, apparently.
Oh, because it was Vertigo, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess he's written Scalped for DC Comics.
Scalped is one of the many multiverses in the New 52. That one exists out there in the multiverse.
I like in his bio on the DC Comics, it says he enjoys many things, but shaving is not one of them.
No, he doesn't. Have you seen his face? I agree, sir, Mr. Aaron. I agree with you on that. I can't grow near as luscious a beard as you, but I agree. You know, I hear if you meet Jason Aaron at a con, if you tug on his beard 3 times, you get a wish. But you gotta catch him first, and he's wily.
And he's always greased up.
That too, which makes it difficult. Oh man, speaking of comic creators, so again, Fan Expo. Scott Snyder was there. I passed Capullo in line. I was going to say hey, but he was with his wife. And you can spot Capullo in a con setting because he's like a big jack dude with a shiny shaved head, cool beard, and he was wearing a Black Label Society hoodie. And I'm like, yep, no doubt who that is. Apparently all the big comic creators got together for dinner atop the CN Tower, and apparently that's where they ate every night. And the CN Tower was within walking distance of my hotel. Like you could see it. They ate like right across.
Oh wow.
And we were this close to going up and eating at the CN Tower ourselves, being like, oh fuck, like imagine if we overheard what they were saying. Imagine what we could overhear them talking about. And then it's like, well, for one, it's like $100 for a steak at the CN Tower restaurant.
Oh Jesus.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's not a cheap place to eat. It's really not, and it's like $37 even if you just want to go up during the day.
Jesus.
Yeah, and I've never been, and then I'm reminded, like, oh yeah, this is why I haven't been. Dude, fuck this wonderful building of ours.
That's why they ate there, because they knew no fan could afford after going to Fan Expo. Like, they couldn't afford it. We can sit up in our tower.
That's smart. Yeah, that was literally their tower stronghold. Jim Lee was there too, and he's like a president of the company, so I'm sure he had like the DC company card. Put it all on the card.
Yeah, they're all standing there, like watching you all like walking across from there, just laughing. They can never find us.
Look at them, Tom. They look like ants from up here. They are ants, Scott. They are ants. Dance, nerds, and give us your money. You want to know what happens in metal? Well, I won't tell you. You gotta read it.
Yeah, they're yelling it down to you because it's so far up you can't hear them.
They're just cursing everybody they can't hear. Man, what's that prickling feeling in the back of it? I feel like a comic writer is cursing me out.
Did you hear that? Oh, it's just the wind.
Just the wind. Fuck you, fanboy. Loser. You know, I bet like comic creators at dinner are probably pretty boring. I bet they're like podcasters. I bet the last thing they want to talk about is work in comics.
Yeah, probably.
They're probably like, hey, you know, so I gone gluten free recently. Oh yeah, it was working really well for me. Oh, yeah. You know what I really liked is that food channel. You know that Anthony Bourdain. It's great binge watching, I tell ya.
Yeah, they're just really bored people. Really boring people.
That would be amazing. They write these super extraordinary stories, but they're super boring in real life. Hey, you want to see some pictures of my kids on the FaceTime? I sure do.
They're going on about all the renovations they're doing in their house. I got to reroute the bathroom.
Exactly. Oh, you know, I got to put up the storm siding. You know, winter's coming. They just talk about news and politics. Like, man, you know, Irma's really fucking up the Keys right now. Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah, my 6 houses down there.
Those poor people. Jim Lee's like, yeah, you know, the house where I keep all my Wildcats merchandise. Man, I'll never forget the day I bought the Wildcats house.
That deserves to be in Florida.
That does. Damn, Jimmy, you've been in this industry a long time, haven't you? Yeah, I have. Damn, Jim, you've drawn a lot. Why does your wrist sound like a cement mixer? That's okay. I'm president of the company. I can get, you know, this carpal tunnel fixed.
Yeah, he's got action figure hands. He can just pop one off and pop a new one on. And then, like, the one he pops on has got like the pencil in the hands. Like, this is my drawing hand.
They compare battle scars. Jim Lee's like, oh yeah, you see that one right there? I got that from X-Men back in '93. Yeah, friggin' Scott Lobdell stabbed me with a pencil. It was a whole thing.
Yeah, and this one is from when I spilled cocaine on myself when we were writing All-Star Batman.
Frank Miller said we need to rewrite it, so I went to his
claw
place.
it off my face.
It was terrible. We never did finish that book, by the way. Hey Jim, how would that story finish if you had a chance? I don't know. Let's crank call Frank and ask him. That's what they do. They just sit around crank calling other creators who are in their phone. Hey, what time is it in England? Let's call Grant Morrison and see what he has to say. Hey, Grant, it's me, Jim. Do you want to write another Multiversity? Oh, yeah, we'll send you the paperwork in the morning. Yeah, Greg is going to draw it. Oh, thank you so much. It's going to be great. I'm feeling a great energy from you. Oh, yeah, we're doing it. He's going to feel so stupid when we don't send him the paperwork in the morning.
Let's text Dan DiDio and tell him conversions was shit.
Because of course they would have his names in
Make sure private numbers on.
Oh god. It's like, no, shit. Oh no, his wife answered. What do we do? Is Dan home? This is DiDio. Can we talk to him? It's really important. Have you boys been drinking? A little bit. This has to be a show now. Like, forget this, like, dinner for three, like, you know, Masterpiece Theater. We need drunk comic creators, the show, just prank calling other comic creators.
That needs to be a show.
It's just like pissy comic creators, like, hey, I created this great character, then you retcon them out of existence, you dick.
Why do you hate the blue Nightwing, Dan?
Yeah, exactly.
Why do you hate the blue?
What's wrong with Stephanie Brown? Why do you not want to put her in things? I just don't like redundancy. We've been over this. You called me at home for this, guys? Yes. What the fuck were we talking about? Oh yeah, the comics that came out this week. That was a great diversion.
Jesus Christ, that's probably one of our longest ones.
Not to pat ourselves on the back for great diversions, but that might be my favorite diversion we've done in 60 episodes. That's one for the best of real.
And it's perfect because we're on video as well.
Exactly, man. See, you're getting your money's worth for this video. Oh fuck, we're not charging you for this. God damn it.
We're charging you now $59.99 a month.
$9.99. You can send that as a check or as a bunch of pennies. It's fine. I'll pick it up. Actually, hey, if you want to pay the bills around here, Matt and I got 2 brand new T-shirts designs over at TeePublic.
We do.
You can get an awesome Thor Ragnarok Cape Joel and an awesome Thor Ragnarok inspired Fortress of Solitude. Matt really outdid himself on those.
Yeah, they actually look really good. I was actually really happy with how they turned out.
You kicked ass on those, and we'll actually get a small cut of that. And also, if you're looking to get a great deal on books in trade and you don't want to pay shipping and handling, we both have book depository links down in the description. That really helps us out for whenever you're looking to buy a trade. Buy from there. Buy from us.
Yeah, I bought from my own affiliate link. Is that like a conflict of interest?
Ooh, that's a good... I think I can buy from yours and you can buy from
I bought like a whole bunch of stuff, though. I only made like 90 cents, so...
Yeah, it's very slow, and they don't pay you out until you reach like $100.
Yeah.
But hey, every 6 months, I will get a strange PayPal notification, be like, what the fuck did this go? Oh shit, I must have reached 100. Okay. Oh man, gonna buy so much Kraft dinner and peanut butter with this.
I can go to the CN Tower for a steak.
Yeah, really. Oh no. It's $100 for a steak, $37 just to get.
Oh no, you gotta get $130.
God damn, this frickin' place, man.
And then like the cost of like the flights and everything and
that too. Well, it's funny, I took that $37. I actually turned around. You know what I did? I went to the Ripley's Aquarium, which is in the same plaza as the CN Tower. That was amazing. I saw fish and I got to stay on the ground. Yeah. Hey, is there fish up there at top of the CN Tower? Didn't think so.
So yeah, there's a giant aquarium.
Oh god.
You can hunt your own dinner.
God damn it, they have everything up there. We also have a magic machine that cures all disease. Oh fuck, it's like Elysium now. Yes, but you gotta get past Shartle Copley to get up here.
And he's not letting anyone pass.
No, he's all jacked and has a ninja sword. Man, they really take security seriously around here.
So comics for this week.
Yeah, comics for this week. I also read Nightwing. That was a fun one.
Yeah, what was that about?
This was like the end of his twofer that he did, wherein he ended up fighting the agents of Spiral again because apparently his buddy King Tiger had gone crazy and was flooding the streets of Bloodhaven with superhero killing guns.
Oh no.
No, turned out it wasn't him, actually. It was Mr. Minos, the first villain that Agent Grayson ever fought, his original handler who had, stolen Tiger's face.
Oh, Jesus.
And then we find out Minos is actually a robot, which is why he's alive right now.
God damn it.
Because we saw him die in Grayson. I'm like, well, how the fuck is he back? Oh, because he's a robot.
Yeah, that's the good explanation for everything. It was a robot all the time.
He was a robot who was programmed by Spiral to hate all superheroes. Which seems like poor planning. That's also why he was putting together those Minos files, which was the whole reason Batman sent Dick undercover after he faked his death into Spiral to get those papers.
Yeah.
To make sure he didn't out the rest of the superhero community. But Minos' plan was hilarious, too, because he basically was going to pull a face-off with Dick Grayson. Look, I be Nick Cage, you be John Travolta. I'm going to steal your face, and then I'm going to infiltrate the superhero community and rebuild my files. And I'm like, that's a pretty creative plan, admittedly.
Yeah, it's pretty creative.
I got to give you that. It's pretty creative. It's funny, too, because, during this whole adventure, Nightwing has been back with Huntress. and they get pretty close, and they end up totally doing it, only for Dick Grayson's reformed supervillainous girlfriend Defacer to catch them because, they had a fight and they thought they were broken up, but apparently they weren't broken up, and apparently she's quite mad now.
Oh, no.
We were on break! It's a great panel because she sees it like out the window, and then you see like the entire like 12 ranges of emotion from like anger, denial, sadness. She does the entire rainbow in a couple seconds, and I'm like, oh, that's unfortunate.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, I like Defacer. This was a fun story. If you really liked Grayson and you felt that those characters in that world needed a little bit more closure, this storyline is good for you.
Cool. Well, I'll talk about two books I had this week, two Star Wars books I had this week.
Right on. I only have two more myself, so that's good. Let's both do two.
The first one is Captain Phasma, issue 1.
Right.
And this is a Journey to the Last Jedi issue. And we sort of find out what happened to Captain Phasma on Starkiller Base. And it's actually perfect timing because her novel came out. She had a novel written about her. Came out, and I actually read that before I read this, and I'm glad I did because the novel actually goes into like heaps of detail about like who she is and like where she's from and what her allegiances are. And her allegiances are she's not First Order member. She's in it because they were like the in thing at the time. They were the ones to get the power. And the minute they're not, the minute they're not the power, she's like, "Fuck this, I'm leaving." And she basically
she really is the Boba Fett of this universe.
Yeah, and Yeah. In this issue, she frees herself from the trash compactor, and she goes back to where she took down the shields, and she erased her taking the shields away, like the log. She got rid of that and
covering her own ass.
Yeah, and she found out that just before she did all that, a couple of minutes before she did all that, someone else was there. And was just like, I guess, like doing technical stuff. And she's like, I'm going to blame this guy. and so the whole issue is her sort of reciting to her logs that she's hunting this guy who took down the shields. And,
so and she's made up her own mission.
Yeah, and while the base is like exploding and everything, she's like just following this guy. And the guy ends up like leaving the base. And she commandeers a TIE fighter to go after him. And she's got like some pilot with her and everything, so she's hunting this guy to cover her own ass, basically.
That's funny. I like that. That's clever.
Yeah, it is a really cool book. It's written by Kelly Thompson.
Oh, nice. I like her. I might have to check that. I'm so far behind on all these Star Wars books, but I like that most of them are like tiny little mini-series that I could probably get done in a short amount of time if need be.
Yeah, a lot of them are just like 5-issue mini-series.
Yeah, can't mess with that. That sounds good. And you said you had another Star Wars one?
Yeah, the other one was Darth Vader issue 5.
Oh, yeah. I read the first 2 issues of this.
Yeah, this one wraps up the first arc with Vader getting his lightsaber, and he gets the lightsaber in the last issue, and this issue he heads to Mustafar, where his castle will be in Rogue One. It looks exactly the same, it's just no castle there yet. And we find out that there's like a dark side well under there.
Well, that's helpful.
And Palpatine wants him to take the crystal there and make it bleed so it becomes a Sith crystal. And he does that, and it's really, really cool how they did it. And he gets blasted back by this crystal, and then he's like saying, "Oh, what have I done?" And then you think it's still going, and he goes and sees the Emperor, and he kills the Emperor. And then he finds Obi-Wan and reveals himself to Obi-Wan, and we find out that that's like a possible future that this crystal shows him.
Crazy crystal dreams.
Yeah, and he's like, "Fuck this shit," and he imbues it with the dark side force, and the issue ends with him with his red lightsaber.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the next issue is him fighting the Inquisitor.
Ooh.
Because the cover looks like they've been fighting. So at least the Inquisitor's coming back, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's it. The one we've seen in Rebels, right? That Inquisitor.
The bald one, with a spinny lightsaber.
I wonder if they'll reveal his name in this. We never got a name for him.
Yeah, we'll probably end up getting... since this takes place literally right after episode 3, I imagine we'll get his like recruitment or like what he's been up to, if he's been around or something.
That's cool. They revealed he was a temple guard. That's basically all we knew about him before he became an Inquisitor.
Yeah, so we might get a little bit more about that, how he became a Sith.
Right, and what that means to be an Inquisitor as opposed to being a full-blown Sith, and what that means for the Empire.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll be interested in that. I will definitely have to catch up on that. That sounds totally my speed.
Yeah, it's really cool.
The last book I read this week was Champions, and this is a fun one because this was kind of more of a laid-back, silly kids' adventure story, and the focus was entirely on Cyclops.
It was, because he got his emotions fucked with because of Psycho Man.
Yeah, Psycho Man totally fucked with his shit, which is funny. I'm sure you put together this one the way I put it together. The Champions are having a karaoke contest, and, like, Scott is really bad at it because he's a total stick in the mud and he's displaced from time, so he doesn't know what modern songs are. But it's funny, too. They're like, oh, there's a bunch of riots happening, near this shitty, ugly statue. Let's go deal with it. Oh, the crowd's gone. Who was behind this? Oh, Psycho Man was the reason.
Yeah, he wasn't really he wasn't like an important villain. Like, he was just like a cog to get the story going so that we get a story about Scott.
I like that. I like that too, and I like that Mark Waid being like, hey, look, I can do funny, silly teen drama stories, and I can also put a little bit of political commentary in there. To the point where some people probably didn't even get what I was saying.
No, I actually didn't get that at first, and then when I reread it again just before I reviewed it, I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't get that. Not a lot of people were gonna get that.
No, I dig that. It's almost like, I'm sure people have been yelling at Mark Waid, being like, oh, your political commentary is too on the nose and too in people's face. And it's like, okay, fine. You want me to be subtle? I'll be fucking subtle.
I've never found it to be too on the nose, because they're a team that stuff like that would appeal to.
Exactly. That's always how I've dug about it. But yeah, it's cool to see Scott get one, and it's funny, his emotions are all over the place, so he'll be like really jacked and really excited, then he'll be like really sad and really down in the dumps.
Yeah, it's like, I can't ever see you, I can't cry because my tears might blow up the earth, and
he becomes Morty from Rick and Morty. Oh god, my voice is annoying and my visor could fall off at any moment. And nobody likes me, and just, I'm just trying my hardest, and my older self becomes a bad guy.
I don't want to become Hitler, guys.
I don't want to become Mutant Hitler, everybody. And the mutants are in a really bad place right now, and it's just like, just bring it down a whole notch. It turns out all he needed to get over his problems was to just flash fry a motherfucker.
Yeah, full force. Turn the power up a little bit.
Whew, that was good therapy. I'm back to normal now. Okay, good, because you almost killed that guy. I like this one. It's funny. It's fitting that a story like this should really focus on Cyclops, because this reminded me very much of like an episode of like X-Men where they'd like play baseball or go to the mall or something. I'm like, oh, these are the sort of stories X-Men used to do.
Yeah.
This I like. I like that, Champions can kind of do both. And I like that this was really a breather issue where it's like, hey, Secret Empire was really heavy and really dark and really serious, and Legacy looks to be Avengers versus Champions. So here's a nice breather story to...
Yeah, I got to the end of that issue, and then it's like next issue we've got this 5-part event with the Avengers and Champions. I'm like, God fucking damn it.
Which was not the whole marching order of Champions that the younger heroes didn't like how the older heroes were doing things constantly fighting each other, so they went and formed their own team.
Yeah, and now, we're getting them versing each other. There's two sides to it and everything.
And was not the moral of Secret Empire, the only reason that Nazi Captain America could succeed was because we were so busy fighting each other we couldn't see what was right in front of us?
Yeah, it happened because of events.
It happened because of events. Well, it's nice to know we learned nothing from this. At least, if nothing else, judging by the cover, they're calling it Avengers versus Champions, but really that's the clickbaity title. It looks like they're all going to be fighting High Evolutionary, but then he's either going to take control of them or do something.
Yeah, they're going to be teaming up together for something, and the good thing is I read both books, so I can jump on in really easily.
Exactly. I'm not going to have to pick up an extra book. I guess I'm along for the ride, and because Mark Waid writes both. Don't jerk me around here, Mark Waid. I don't likes to be jerked in that way. So yeah, that was what I read this week. Is that everything you read?
Yeah, that's pretty much everything.
All right, and we finished on the same time. Whew. So there you go, everyone. That's a very special episode of the Comic Multiverse for you, all wrapped and ready to go.
Yeah, I think it's pretty successful with video.
Yeah, with Vidya and everything. You done did seen us. And I can only imagine this is going to be popular, which means, damn it, I'm not going to be able to sit in my underwear draped in a blanket every Sunday night to do this show, because you give people the video inch, and soon they'll want the video mile.
They want everything to be video.
All video, all the time, which, we wanted to do that anyway, and we figure that's the least we can do for you because you all been so cool and so great. The only question is now moving forward is, do I put the audio version up for people to carry around for them on Patreon first, or do I put the video, or do I put both up at the same time so people can choose?
Put them both up at the same time so people can choose.
Hit him with both barrels, everybody. That's what I'm gonna do, and that's also my clumsy way of saying, hey, if you want to listen to this one first Sunday night as soon as we're done, become a patron for as little as $1 a month. You can support me and Matt. You can support the channel. Can help keep the lights on. Can help us buy comics and everything else we need to do our work. And you get the gift of getting to hear and see and listen to stuff first.
Yeah, now you can see us, so you get that.
Now.
That's like an addition.
You literally can now see us. That's totally the thing. You get the gift of looking. If hearing's free, looking's gonna cost you all. So actually, we're just gonna put the video up on Wednesday for everybody too, same normal time. But looking first will cost you.
Yeah, being the first to see.
But only $1. I was gonna make a joke there saying for the price of a cup of coffee, but where the hell can you get a cup of coffee for $1 anymore?
I don't know, like 7-Eleven.
I guess.
Like really shitty gas stations, like 90-cent coffees or something.
Yeah. For the price of a really shitty cup of coffee, you can listen to a not so shitty comic podcast and look at us at the same time. So there you go, everybody. I'm going to start winding down the show. You have anything you want to promote, Matt, before we end this?
It's funny, you've just come back from a Comic-Con. I'm going to a Comic-Con, not this coming weekend, but the weekend after.
Nice.
I'm going to be attending Oz Comic Con Brisbane, so expect a video probably showing you the floor, and I might even do like a what I bought sort of thing at the end of the video.
I always do.
Yeah, because I imagine I'm probably going to buy a bunch of shit.
I really wanted to find the Steven Universe art book while I was at Fan Expo, but I never did.
Yeah, I always go in looking for something particular, then I get there, I forget, and I'm like, I'm just going to buy that.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I got myself a Game of Thrones mug this time, and it was a very important moment. Like, okay, what house do you choose? Do you pick the main character wolves? Do you pick the incest lions, or do you pick the dead stags? I picked the stags because I like the gray mug. It's good. Been drinking my tea out of it in the morning. But it's such a big mug and it's so deep, and I forget how much is in it when I'm drinking. So I'm like, oh, that's a bigger sip than I'm used to. So if I ever drown in my mug, that's why.
Yeah, he drowned in his dead stag mug.
Yeah, which I mean, there's worse ways.
It sounds better than dying in your incest lion mug.
Yeah, in the incest lion mug, or dying on the toilet.
Or you could die on the toilet while drinking from it.
There you go, with a crossbow bolt in me, and the cops are just like completely amazed. They're just like, we got nothing.
What the fuck happened here?
This is one for that forensic files show. We need one of them TV cops to come in and work this one out. And on that note, everyone, I think I can finally bring the show to a close for real this time. Thank you so much for watching and listening. We appreciate it. As always, be sure to leave a comment, leave a like, all that good stuff. And yeah, I mean, that's it. Any parting thoughts, Matt?
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this first video, maybe many.
Yeah, if it's not a total burning fuck up.
Yeah.
So yeah, on that note, everyone, bye-bye.
Bye.